Hi, Kristine Nickel from the Sarasota Herald Tribune for Savor Sarasota. This afternoon, I'm visiting with 4 of the best chefs and restaurateurs in Southwest Florida. I think that one of the things that we've seen in the last couple of years is that people are really interested in having more small plates available to them, more appetizers, things like that. Sean, you certainly at Eat Here have been at the forefront of doing the small plate thing. And so what's been the response to that, and do you think that's a trend that's going to continue?
Well, I think we really started it at the Beach Bistro. Like, we've been around for 28 years out there too. JP and I, we started it around the same time. We began to watch that people are coming back to dinner, and it's not just about having a meal anymore. They're not just eating something. It has to be an experience. So there's curiosity involved. And the smaller plate lets you try more things. So it opens the door to value. So somebody who's feeling a little peckish and maybe only wants something a little light or a smaller portion, we can certainly accommodate them. But it also gives them the opportunity to try more things. There's more sharing.
Now, do you only do small plates at the...
No, there's
Here you do some entrees as well.
There's sort of the original plan was just to do small plates, but there's a certain conservative element. There's, Uncle George wants to have a full plate of meatloaf. Thank you very much.
And I'm sorry to barge in on the question, but the reason I asked is...
Have at it.
No, because we started to do that when we opened the City Grill and did only a tapas menu right at the beginning. And people would come in and they did just what you said. They shared and they enjoyed it, but then they were like, well... And some of the older guards, some of them wanted to now order an entree, so we kind of caved eventually and put some entrees on as well. But people still do the sharing thing a lot. You still see a lot of that, certainly.
We have the same situation where Uncle George wants his steak and doesn't want to share it with anybody. So we offer what we call bar bites, and we have a separate menu that has a whole selection of items that are not really on our menu but are separate and are small enough that it can just whet an appetite, but also enough that you can share. And it's proven to be very popular.
An appetizer of mussels, and sometimes ladies will come in and just order the mussels with a side of frites and call it a meal.
Yeah.
The duck confit with the frisee salad is the leg and the thigh. They'll have a bowl of soup and then that, and call it, a meal. And it's a sufficient amount of food, but we have seen, an influx of people sharing small plates and appetizers, and then you do get, the people that want the steak frites and don't want to share it, or, a fish and with some starch and vegetables.
So speaking of great ingredients, just leafing through food magazines lately, it seems to me that this whole South American thing is really picking up some traction. The Argentinian barbecue and the chimichurri and all of that. And you're all nodding your heads, so tell me, are we going to see those kinds of items on your menus soon?
I try not to. There's a difference between a trend and a fad. So it's fads that I tend to be wary of.
I was recently in Argentina and Chile on a wine buying trip, and thanks to Malbec, they've really put those places on the map. And the interesting thing more about Argentina than Chile is there's a huge European influence there. So the food that we're seeing from places like Argentina is predominantly about the meat, because they do eat a ton of meat, and it's most always grilled, barbecued. But there's also some incredible Italian, French, and other European influences that makes the cuisine there very interesting. So people catching up on it now are really onto something. It's not just about grilled meat.
And what do you think about the wines? I mean, all 4 of you have great wine lists.
I was surprised. I'm a gardener, so I understand the reverse osmosis process of organic gardening, this, that, and the other. And so many of the wines are organic down there, and they don't want to go through the 3-year application process in the U.S. to stamp that on their label. But there's a large amount of wine out of there that is organic.
Well, this has been such a great experience for me. The collective knowledge that the 4 of you have is really off the charts. And so I can't thank you enough for being here. So I'd like to propose a toast to each one of you and to a great Savor Sarasota, and salute.
Cheers. Cheers.